With fluffy ears, round heads, and spoon-shaped noses, koalas are known for their lovable faces. But these sleepy Australian tree dwellers are full of surprises. Koalas are not bears, they're marsupials. Often mislabeled koala bears because of their teddy bear-like appearance, koalas are marsupials, mammals that give birth to undeveloped young. Like most marsupials, mother koalas have pouches, where baby koalas, or joeys, drink their mother's milk and continue to develop for around 6 months. But unlike most other marsupials, koala pouches open toward the bottom. This allows joeys to access and consume a substance their mother secretes, which aids in the baby koala's digestion. Koalas have 6 opposable thumbs. With sharp pointed claws and rough pads, koala hands and feet are uniquely designed to grip branches. Their front paws have 5 digits. 2 digits oppose the other 3 like a pair of thumbs. Their back paws each have 1 large clawless opposable digit, which allows them to grasp branches with their feet, freeing their hands to forage. Koala feet also have built-in combs. The second and third toes are fused together and are used for grooming their woolly fur. Koalas eat leaves that are poisonous to many animals. The koala diet consists almost entirely of eucalyptus leaves. Of the roughly 650 species of eucalypt trees in Australia, koalas prefer only about 30 of them. The leathery leaves are very high in fiber and contain chemicals toxic to other animals. To process this specialized diet, koalas have a closed-ended digestive organ called a cecum, which helps digest the leaf fibers via fermentation. Koalas sleep up to 22 hours per day. Because of their low nutrition diets and sluggish metabolism, koalas must conserve their energy. Koalas spend about 10% of their day eating and around 90% of their time sleeping. To accommodate so much time spent sleeping in tree branches, koalas have curved spines and tailless rears padded with cartilage and extra thick fur. Koala habitat is quickly disappearing. Koalas only live in eastern and southeastern Australia and once numbered in the millions. Now, wild koala population estimates vary from 43,000 to around 350,000. Vast tree clearing due to urbanization, along with droughts and forest fires, have drastically reduced koala habitat since the early 1900s. These stressors have made koalas vulnerable to diseases, as well as dog attacks and vehicle strikes. Australia's conservation plans include designating and protecting koala habitat and funding koala hospitals and disease research. These combined efforts are critical to protect the beloved koala from extinction. On average, wildfires burn up to 5 million acres of land in the United States each year. While they can start naturally, wildfires are often caused by humans, with devastating consequences. Wildfires are large, uncontrolled infernos that burn and quickly spread through wild landscapes. Types of wildfires may include forest, brush, and peatland fires, depending on the landscapes affected. Wildfires require 3 components known as the fire triangle: a heat source, fuel, and oxygen. Heat sources such as the sun, a hot bolt of lightning, or a smoldering match can supply enough heat to spark a fire. That spark then turns into flames when fuel or any flammable material is present. Dry, dead grasses, leaves, and trees are common fuels for wildfires, but so are living vegetation called green fuels. Pine trees and other evergreens contain flammable oils that can burn when exposed to a heat source. As the fuel burns, the resulting flames feed and thrive off of oxygen. When air movement or wind occurs, not only is more oxygen supplied to the fire, but it may also help transport and spread the flames. Since wildfires occur outdoors, they have a nearly endless supply of oxygen from our atmosphere to burn. Many wildfires are the result of natural causes. A warmer climate and weather patterns like El Niño can create the hot, dry conditions necessary for fires to erupt. However, about 90% of wildfires are caused by human activity, such as campfires that become uncontrollable, improperly handled cigarettes, or arson. Although wildfires occur worldwide, they are most common in the western United States. There, high temperatures, drought, and frequent lightning and thunderstorms can create the perfect setting for wildfires. While they can be destructive and sometimes even deadly for humans, wildfires do play an important role in nature. They can help a forest by removing harmful insects or diseased plants, and they can clear thick canopies to help sunshine reach seedlings on a forest floor. By being aware of the conditions necessary for wildfires to occur, they can be managed and prevented, thereby saving lives and making way for the positive effects of wildfires.
For 2.5 million years, the Earth's climate has fluctuated, cycling from ice ages to warmer periods. But in the last century, the planet's temperature has risen unusually fast, about 1.2 to 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists believe it's human activity that's driving the temperatures up, a process known as global warming. Ever since the Industrial Revolution began, factories, power plants, and eventually cars have burned fossil fuels such as oil and coal, releasing huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases trap heat near the Earth through a naturally occurring process called the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect begins with the sun and the energy it radiates to the Earth. The Earth and the atmosphere absorb some of this energy, while the rest is radiated back into space. Naturally occurring gases in the atmosphere trap some of this energy and reflect it back, warming the Earth. Scientists now believe that the greenhouse effect is being intensified by the extra greenhouse gases that humans have released. Evidence for global warming includes a recent string of very warm years. Scientists report that 1998 was the warmest year in measured history, with 2005 coming in second. Meanwhile, readings taken from ice cores show that the greenhouse gases carbon dioxide and methane have hit their highest levels in the past 420,000 years. Arctic sea ice is also shrinking. According to NASA studies, the extent of Arctic sea ice has declined about 10% in the last 30 years. As long as industrialized nations consume energy and developing countries increase their fossil fuel consumption, the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will continue to rise. Researchers predict that temperatures will increase about 2 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. What's less certain is what rising temperatures mean for the planet. Some climate models predict subtle changes. Others forecast rising sea levels which could flood coastal areas around the world. Weather patterns could change, making hurricanes more frequent. Severe droughts could become more common in warm areas, and species unable to adapt to the changing conditions would face extinction. Although much remains to be learned about global warming, many organizations advocate cutting greenhouse gas emissions to reduce the impact of global warming. Consumers can help by saving energy around the house, switching to compact fluorescent light bulbs, and driving fewer miles in the car each week. These simple changes may help keep the Earth cooler in the future.
Human activities, from pollution to overpopulation, are driving up the Earth's temperature and fundamentally changing the world around us. The main cause is a phenomenon known as the greenhouse effect. Gases in the atmosphere, such as water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons, let the sun's light in, but keep some of the heat from escaping, like the glass walls of a greenhouse. The more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the more heat gets trapped, strengthening the greenhouse effect and increasing the Earth's temperature. Human activities, like the burning of fossil fuels, have increased the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere by more than a third since the Industrial Revolution. The rapid increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere has warmed the planet at an alarming rate. While Earth's climate has fluctuated in the past, atmospheric carbon dioxide hasn't reached today's levels in hundreds of thousands of years. Climate change has consequences for our oceans, our weather, our food sources, and our health. Ice sheets, such as Greenland and Antarctica, are melting. The extra water that was once held in glaciers causes sea levels to rise and spills out of the oceans, flooding coastal regions. Warmer temperatures also make weather more extreme. This means not only more intense major storms, floods, and heavy snowfall, but also longer and more frequent droughts. These changes in weather pose challenges. Growing crops becomes more difficult. The areas where plants and animals can live shift, and water supplies are diminished. In addition to creating new agricultural challenges, climate change can directly affect people's physical health. In urban areas, the warmer atmosphere creates an environment that traps and increases the amount of smog. This is because smog contains ozone particles, which increase rapidly at higher temperatures. Exposure to higher levels of smog can cause health problems such as asthma, heart disease, and lung cancer. While the rapid rate of climate change is caused by humans, humans are also the ones who can combat it. If we work to replace fossil fuels with renewable energy sources like solar and wind, which don't produce greenhouse gas emissions, we might still be able to prevent some of the worst effects of climate change.